Hi there, it's Miracle, and today, because we are well into summer now, I think it's a good time to do a summer book haul. And also I want to talk about some books that I borrowed from the library recently, because these are also the books that I'm excited to read. And half of the books on this haul was the result of my last trip to Seattle and Vancouver. I had the greatest time visiting the indie bookshops in both cities, and I found some unique books to read. So let's dive in. The first book on this pile was We Were Feminists Once by Andy Zisler. This is a book that I found on the lovely indie bookshop called Left Bank Books, which I included in my 3 bookshops in Seattle video, and I'll link the video down below. And the bookshop has an amazing feminism section, and I saw this book, which is a book that I marked as interested to read on my Goodreads long time ago, so I picked it up without hesitation. And then I got a book with a very interesting title called The Book of Nonsense. This is a book that I got from a bookshop that dedicated to poetry called Open Books, a Poem Aquarium, and this is a book with funny titles and also some interesting format of books with some interesting and funny illustrations. Yeah, I got it because I think it's really fun, and also it's one of an Everyman paperback collection book. Also in that poetry bookshop, I got this magazine called Poetry. This is a poetry magazine, as the title suggests it. I have never read a magazine dedicated to poetry before, but I think this might be a fun way to discover more poets that I like. So this is it. Following, I got Mother Night by Kurt Vonnegut. Vonnegut is an author that I really want to read since teenagehood, but I don't know why I haven't get it yet. So yes, I got this one, and also I really like the bookmark this bookshop sent out, because the bookshop was called Dog-Eared Bookshop. So it has a bookmark with a dog face with the ear being dog-eared, which I think is really funny. And in the same bookshop, I got London Review of Books. This is a literature magazine in the newspaper format. I have read London Review of Books on electronic devices before, but I have never seen a physical copy of it. So I got this as a souvenir and also something to read on the plane. And that's all the books that I got on my trip. So following are all the books that I got when I'm staying at home. So following the vibe of the London Review of Books, I got the Paris Review. This is a literature magazine, a very famous one. And this is actually a result from me chatting with my friends, whom I'm going to host a podcast on reading with her together. The podcast will be in Chinese, but yeah, we were talking about our experiences reading the Paris Review. I have read Paris Review before, but not very seriously. So somehow I decided to subscribe to a whole year of Paris Review and to see if I can get something interesting or I can get some value of this profound magazine. And for 1 year subscription, you just got like 4 issues, and this is one of them. And because I subscribed to the Paris Review magazine for a year, I got a discount for one of their books called Writers at Work Around the World. This is a series of interviews that the Paris Review did with the authors, including Hajin and Haruka Murakami. So I'm really intrigued by the interviews and wanted to see more writers' life with this book, so I got it. Following, I have 2 books that were recommended to me by my dearest friend here on BookTube, Nicole from Nicole is Here to Learn. I'll link her channel down below, and honestly, I cannot recommend her channel more, so go check her channel out. Following, I have 2 books that were recommended to me by my dearest friend here on BookTube, Nicole from Nicole is Here to Learn. I'll link her channel down below, and honestly, I cannot recommend her channel more, so go check her channel out. And the first book she recommended to me is this 23 Things They Don't Tell You About Capitalism by Ha-Yung Chang. This is a book about 23 misconceptions about capitalism, and including free trade and how people get richer and how that doesn't help other people who cannot get rich or something. And yeah, I'm already a little bit into this book, and so far it's interesting and writing in a very reader-friendly way, so you don't need to be an expert on this topic to understand this book. A second book she recommended to me was None of the Above by Rick Edwards. By the cover, you can tell it is about voting, and as a person who cannot vote anywhere, it seems irrelevant for me to read about voting, but I'm so want to learn more about the voting system. Last year, actually, when my city was voting for its new city council, although I cannot vote, but I gathered more information to try to make up an idea on my own, and I think reading more and learn more about the voting system can really help me understand the world that I live in and how the things impact my life. The rest of the books are the books that I borrowed from the library, with the first one still recommended by Nicole, but on her channel it's called This Changes Everything, with the subtitle of Capitalism versus the Climate by Naomi Klein. This is a book about climate change and also about the impact of capitalism on the climate change, and also what actions that we need to take. Nicole actually did a very interesting series of videos on her channel in May, talking about her learning process of this book and also the actions that she took. So I highly recommend this book, and I will link the series of videos down below. And I'm aware of, because of the blue on this cover, so my picture color tone all turned all yellow, so bear with me on that clip. And then as we are back into the normal color tone, I have an interesting book borrowing story. I borrowed Animal Liberation, the definitive class of the animal movement by Peter Singer. This is a book I borrowed because I was talking to my BFF the other day, probably about topics about climate change and our views on animals, which impact the environment also. So he told me that he really recommended this book to me because he thought I would love it. So I borrowed this book from the library and told him, and he went, "Yeah, but I haven't read that book yet. I just thought you would love it." So yeah, that was to my surprise, but I guess I will somehow love this book, so I still will read it. Next, I got a Norwegian middle grade novel in Norwegian, as I'm learning Norwegian and try to read more books in Norwegian. So the book was called Mørkilkammer in a Fla by Tidra Tronstad. If you can speak Norwegian, please forgive me of butchering the pronunciation. I should know better, but that's the best I can do. And this title translates into Darkness Comes From Inside. So wow, it's a thrilling title. I was browsing Norwegian section in my library and I saw this standing out among all of the picture books on the kids section. So I picked it up and I think the title was interesting, so the book should be interesting. And nonetheless, I'm learning the language, so I should read more. Last book on this haul was a poetry memoir called Shot by Lauren Anderson. And this is a book that recommended by Emily from the channel Emily Kite, and I trust her opinion a lot. And also I'm very intrigued by the format of this book because it is a memoir but in poetry format. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in this book. And yeah, that's all the books that on my haul from my trip, from my talking to my friend, and also from my library. Let me know if you have heard any of the books or if you are interested to read them after you watched this video. And don't forget to say hi in the comment section down below. I hope you're happy reading, and I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!